Last night we went to go see Freakier Friday. This is a mom-daughter movie. While I am not a mother, she is a daughter, so I thought she should chime in on this one. What did you think about Freakier Friday as someone that enjoyed Freaky Friday and likes Lindsay Lohan?
I really like the movie. It has some callbacks and it has some new jokes that are as good, if not funnier in some cases. It's also like the same kind of movie, but also really different at the same time. And that's just weird, kind of, but good.
Yeah, like it follows the same sort of structure of moments that certain things happen, certain payoffs that you want, but because the family dynamic is very different, the way that it plays out, it's not just entirely rehashing what it did before, but it follows the same structure to have the same elements that you like.
Yes. It also has a lot more people switching, which is kind of confusing in the beginning when it first happens. But they make it pretty obvious who it is. Sometimes it does get a bit blurry, but normally it's pretty good. I also like how, the first one, it's about, mother-daughter trying to understand each other. But this one, there's another major plot point that's about two people who, completely hate each other, and they're trying to understand each other, which is a different dynamic than mother-daughter, but it's still the same, trying to understand each other.
And that's where it's kind of the idea of it's the same, but it's different, because the idea of a mother and daughter is a real specific dynamic, and two people that are high schoolers that kind of hate each other, don't understand each other, learning to see through their differences and what makes each of them tick and kind of respect them more. It's the same, but it's also very different. I was probably a little bit more mixed on the film, but the thing that really kind of shines through with the movie is that Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie spin the movie together. Because of the way the swaps happen, they end up playing, these two high schoolers. And so it's just nonstop Lindsay Lohan, Jamie Lee Curtis doing shenanigans, their fun chemistry. They're on screen together a lot more in this movie than they were in the other movie. And so that was just kind of a real pleasant dynamic. It has a lot of the same charm. It has the nostalgia beats that you want, but it can capture the charm of the first one in a lot of ways. The specific nature of having four different people swapping, the setup of trying to get to all of this taking place where there's high schoolers that don't like each other, a mom meets someone she falls in love with, grandma co-parenting, there's all these clunky parts, so it's a little bit convoluted getting things going, and so it's just not as clean as a mom doesn't understand her daughter, and a daughter doesn't understand her mother. It's more complex, and I like how clean the original one is versus this one, so the actual swap itself didn't work, and because of the nature of the swap, the actual characters played by Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis are kind of sidelined because it is about the two high schoolers really being the ones that need to learn. And because of that, I think it kind of missed out on, the characters I cared more about don't do as much because the actresses I care about are doing more, if that makes sense in the context of the body swapping and everything like that. So it absolutely has a lot of the charm. There's some good laughs in there, but it's just a little bit clunkier in how it does things.
I'm also glad that I thought it was only going to be Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis who switched, and I was like, it's the same thing. Yeah. It's going to be the same thing as the first movie. I mean, it's still going to be fun, but it's going to be the same thing. So I'm glad they added the daughter switch. It is, confusing, though, because, it's, the grandma and the gonna-be sister, and then the mother and the gonna-be sister, which is confusing.
It's a little weird. It's not as clean. As mother-daughter, it's just so clean what's going on, and this one is just a little bit weirder, and the dynamics aren't as... It's just not quite as interesting with, in particular, the new girl and Jamie Lee Curtis. It's just not as interesting of a swap.
And a good thing about this movie is that, the last movie had a lot of secondhand embarrassment for me, and this movie doesn't have nearly as much as that the other movie did, which was really good.
I don't know. I mean, perhaps maybe it's a generational thing. Half the jokes in this movie are Jamie Lee Curtis calling herself old and making fun of herself for being old and all the old people things. So that maybe that you didn't have the secondhand embarrassment because there's enough of a gap between you and 65-year-old Jamie Lee Curtis. But it is Jamie Lee Curtis like full blown making fun of herself, and the idea of someone as famous as her being this willing to be like, yeah, I'm old and this is what happens to old people. There's something refreshing about that. I will also say this. Same with the first movie. I really appreciated that the way that it treats the male characters in it, the love interest in it, is that they're like fully really decent guys. That like almost to the degree of like they don't have enough faults because they're just really considerate, loving people. And in a time where sometimes movies like to make men doofuses or jerks or monsters or have hidden secrets, it's refreshing to just have like, they're like just really, really decent, considerate guys that care deeply about the person they're in love with, as well as respecting their families. I really appreciated that about the film. Like I said, I just don't think it's nearly as effective as the original film because the dynamics are a little bit too complicated. And I think, like, if there was some way to do just a granddaughter, daughter, grandmother three-way swap that's a little bit cleaner, I think it played better. But for the story they were telling, like, it's like kind of so specific about what they were trying to. The nature of the plot here has a mean streak to it with what the high school girls are doing, that for me, as the person that's the age of, the Lindsay Lohan generation in this, is really kind of off-putting in the context of everything going on, that I think soured me on some of it, kind of made it not as clean, because it was just like so nasty what they're trying to do and why they're trying to do it. Final thoughts?
In general, I just really like the movie because it's fun. It has emotional parts in it, but they're not like crazy. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like they're emotional parts that aren't like somebody died, which is what they're normally about. Like, somebody died. Well, pish posh, but like it's not like one of the main characters died. But I really liked the movie. I thought it was fun. It had emotional parts in it that weren't too crazy, but it was still good.
And I was more mixed on the film, while thinking it still had some charm and some things that worked really nicely in it, but a few choices that I just didn't care for. All right, let's score the movie. So if like an A is your favorite movie of the year, A-, it's really, really good. B+, very good. B's good. B-, you like it, but there's some issues. C+, you don't really recommend it, but it has positive qualities to it. C is like, it's not very good, but it's not fully awful. Where are you landing on this one?
I think I'm going to say an A- because I really, really like the movie, but I still need to leave room for Wicked.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Well stated. But that's like one of your favorites of the year.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to go with, I think, a B- on it. Like, it really does have the charm. I liked we got a lot of Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis is one of my favorite actresses, and that she's just so willing to make fun of herself is really solid here. There was a mean streak to it that didn't quite sit right with me, and the dynamics and kind of setup is a little bit clunky in here, so not a smooth ride, but it does deliver the charm, the fun, the laughs that you want. And it's also a very music-centric film, just like the previous one. Like, it finds a way to honor the fact that she was into music without overdoing that too much. And so even the music side of it kind of continues on here in a way that is pivotal to the story. It's kind of fun. So, alrighty. That's our father-daughter review of Freakier Friday. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comments.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.